Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another installment of the Bullpen. Kev, we got a huge board. Why don't we get straight to it right now? Go ahead and lead us off.
Yeah, thanks, Raf. Today we're talking about the clean aesthetic of gold BJJ. They're phenomenal streetwear they've got. It's not just training gear, guys. You can get streetwear. Raf, are these all gold BJJ? All of these cards are gold BJJ?
Yep, just read the script like we talked about.
Yeah, you're right. They've got a variety of styles. They have a bag. It's phenomenal competition gear. You can bring it with you. You can throw it in the wash. These are really cool. Are any of these for me? Like that bag?
No. They didn't have any stuff for you. They ran out of your
Well, they're really affordable if you need to go out there and get them. You can just get the stuff, goldbjj.com.
These shorts are awesome. I'm going to get this. Wait.
Do they have a second set for me? Is that a thing they have?
They were like, hey, man, we ran out of stuff, and they didn't have it in your size because like fat. You know what I mean? So, like, these are all for like me. Anyway, go visit our friends at goldbjj.com.
10,000 hours is a steep mountain to climb to become a master, especially when the task at hand puts a relentless demand on your body. There is nothing casual about this sport. It's all in, all effort, all focus. It takes a lot from you, but the reward is unmatched. Mastery of oneself, an acute understanding of your weaknesses with an explosive sense of your strengths. Being able to complete the climb to mastery requires the proper nutrition. This is why it's important to take in a potent blend of electrolytes that is in tune with your output and brings strength to your goals. This potent blend is only found in salt electrolytes. Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs.
Elevate your BJJ game with inverted gear, where pandas and performance meet. Whether you train in a gi or prefer no gi, we have something for you. Our gear is built to last and designed to perform no flashy extras, just high-quality craftsmanship and minimal design. Plus, pandas. Don't miss our back-to-school sale going on now. Visit www.invertijar.com and roll with confidence panda style.
What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of The Bullpen, a joint venture between the Grappling Hour and Inside BJJ. I hope that you're having a great day. I'm having a fantastic day because I'm still riding that good Dodger high. I went to the Dodger game yesterday, and not only did they clinch our division, which, huzzah, there was an appearance by the most popular person in all of Los Angeles. I think I can say that confidently. Not Ohtani. Ohtani's dog, Decoy, who is near and dear to my heart. I love this dog. In fact, I didn't even know he was there. But feeling his presence on my way out, I stopped, I looked, and somebody's like, did you see Decoy? And I was like, is Decoy here? Holy shit, I love Decoy. Anyway. In a good mood. And as you'll notice, we're here with these like new things. Look at this. Look this way. Look at that. Look at Banner, Michael. Like, this is good stuff. So very happy to see these things going. You guys will likely see them joining us in the near future, but I'm not here by myself. I am here with my longtime friend, Tim Freeman. Tim, how are you feeling, sir?
Yo.
Well, here's the dumb part. It didn't assign you as a thing. I just realized that now. So it's basically throwing to somebody, but it doesn't know where to throw to. So this is how you can tell how excited I am about this. Let's see what happens if I throw that on there. No, still nothing doing there. All right, one last time. before I go to Tim. So we're going to see the lower third come back from me again. We're going to throw to Tim one more time, and we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. So everybody sit tight because it's happening. It's just a matter of how it's happening. So everybody hold for 3, 2, 1. Add some more time. Stalling. I don't see Tim being assigned that. So Tim, there we go. Let's see if that changes anything. Oh, I see what happened. Tim, it made you tiny. Oh my God, that's funny. I see what happened. I was like, why the fuck are you not on this thing? Okay.
Man, it is a miracle that we are friends and work together so well. But man, I was raised to hate the Dodgers. So, I hope they lose in the first round. But congratulations that they clinched. The Giants, I think, have a losing record right now. So we don't want to talk about
No,
that.
we're happy to talk about baseball, if anything, right now. This is the time you do talk about baseball. So we will say this. We're holding out a little, there's like a little bit of RIP moment here because he didn't die or anything. But Kevin went to go compete. Now, we were told that he might be here. So we're not quite sure what exactly is going to happen on this. So in his stead, we'll just put this. It says Tim's in a cave. Okay, so that means his audio is repeating here. Got it. All right, let me try and figure that out. While we do, 1 second here. Let's. All right, you guys can tell me if that comes through a little bit easier. If not, we can try one more addition here to make that adjustment. But thank you to our audience.
I have faith in you.
So anyway, all right.
Raf.
Well, I am also. Let me give it one.
I'm pretty sure this is due to the
way
hurricane.
better. Okay, great. Okay, cool. So that fixed that. Great. Thanks for letting us know, folks. All right. So as we were mentioning, yes, Kevin, not dead to us, but just dead production-wise. He is going to compete, though, today at the Chicago ADCC Open. So hopefully he survives that. He makes it out okay. If not, he had a good run here. So I think it's very telling. So we were told he may be calling in, but I think he's also trying to cut weight. So I don't know if he's going to be in a good mood or if he's grumpy bear. It's very difficult to ascertain. Also, I do see this is John G. Medberry who says, hey, I know those guys in that ad. So John, very happy to hear that. I think that means that you are either in that ad or you actually do know those individuals. But yes, we have many friends who appear in many of those things. So Tim, do you have any other business before we get to the board that you need to address?
Happy to be here, man. Super stoked. Check out Inside BJJ. Got a lot of cool stuff. But no, man, I'm ready to go. Kind of had a wild day here, just running from one thing to the next. Had some serious technical difficulties with the laptop, but we made it happen. So I'm stoked that we're in the house, man.
We adapt, we overcome. All right, here is the board for us here today, and we'll start with the first thing, which is, Tim, is the last trials happening for PGF this weekend? And if so, what does that mean for everybody involved here? Because now I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I didn't think that we were nearing the end of the trials process, but lo and behold, I've been told it's this weekend. What's the deal on that, sir?
Yeah, so the Season 7 qualifiers are tomorrow, September 28th. They're taking place in Las Vegas. There's 30 people registered right now, which is surprisingly smaller than the Nashville qualifiers that Kyle Bain won, by the way. So you're going to see him in PGF Season 7. So they're up tomorrow. There's 30 people in it. It's still free to register. They build the brackets up. If you want a shot at the PGF, this is the way to do it. It's funny because, and this, better than anybody, Raf. When you're guy with Mike, people come up to you thinking that somehow you know everything there is to know about the promotion that you're working at or whatever's going on. And they'll ask like, hey man, can you get me in the PGF? Like, what can you do to put me on the PGF? And I'm like, go to the qualifier, dog. Like, yeah, I can get you. Go to the qualifier and win. You're in the PGF. So it's tomorrow. We're winding down. It just seems like season 6 wrapped up not too long ago. And now here we are, right coming up to the doorstep of season 7. And I got to say for myself, I'm more excited now than I was, because I have a much better understanding of what's going on. I know what's going to happen in season 7 in terms of what's day 1 like, what's day 2 like, what's day 3 like. I'm stoked. I can't wait to get back there. It couldn't come fast enough.
Thank you for that. So my contention here is I'm like, I know what to expect now, but I'm also in a space where, you know, we spend like CC, like there's trials and it feels like there's a quest, and then it's like, no, your princess is in another castle. The trials process for essentially PGF happened in like 6 weeks. And it's not that they didn't have other qualifiers. This is the 3rd qualifiers. But to me, it was just the added bonus of, you know, when people tell you act now before it's too late, they were telling you, hey, listen, this is the last qualifiers for it. And I go, oh, shit. Yeah, if you're a civilian and you want in, this is the only way to do it. So I immediately got nervous and I started looking through, and I want to bring this up because I mean, I can, but did you look at some of the names that are involved in this?
Yeah. For the qualifier?
Yes. And I can run through some of the names because I want to say the last time the PGF did this, not to like throw shade or anything, but like the last time I saw this, I couldn't see the athletes' names for one of the qualifiers. And I think it might be in a weird limbo day. But normally this is one of the competitions you could see who, what, where, when, and why. But on this particular day, I was kind of like, well, who's involved? And that made me think to myself, well, maybe there's a way we could see. So we're going to try another live element here. And we're going to see if this will create a little bit of a widget. Yes, it will. So that we can actually see the athletes involved. So I'm going to narrate this. You guys are seeing me produce this in real time, by the way. So, boom. Look at this list that we're about to go through here in a second. But it'll give you a better idea as to who, what, where, when, and why. But Tim, I'm kind of stoked because once I saw some of the names, I was like, oh, those are some good folks. Like, these aren't just any scrubs or anything like that. So
right.
Our participants look as follows. Oh, I think they added some more. So Gabriel Checo, Zangief himself coming through, Anthony Hubbard. You've got, I think a little bit later, I did see Dorion, who is part of Hustle BJJ. Jose Urquin, who's one of the homies out here in Cali, who competes for 10th Planet Van Nuys. But somebody was on both of our shows recently. Jared is going to be competing at that. I didn't know he was going to be on there. And Christian, who competes for the Zenith brand, who I'm like, yo, that dude, I don't know if he's 205. So he's another one of those like really good, like under the radar guys who I think to myself, oh, homeboy he's in this shit, but man, I did not expect him to be as a participant, at least at that weight class. So it definitely survived that. But I did see this, and this is confusing to me now. The Daily Stack, who's on his way there, says there's only one spot left. I didn't even know there was only so many spots. So, you know, even though we know what's happening, we know how it works. That's very cool to see. You brought up a question, but before we get there, we should also go over who the participants have been listed thus far in. So, just this week, I saw the homeboy, Chris Wojcik, is going to be involved in the PGF. That's incredible news. He's a very, very good grappler. So that was a huge get. We also said that it was this Davis Asari is going to be returning back. So that's incredible. He had a very good 5 to me then.
Right.
So,
right.
Okay. Nervous, but he's an incredible grappler. Another homie, Stuart Cooper, going out from behind the camera and now going to be competing as one of the main participants. And I argue that he should have the Stuart Cooper name, his little logo, go on the top of the screen. And also recently announced, and this is probably good that Kevin's not here.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Ordea is going to be involved again. Now, last week, Kevin was trying to play some defense because the internet was saying, hey, listen, you're not going to have the handsome title anymore. And they voted in large part for Paul Ordea over Kevin. Do you feel that Kevin is reeling from this? Do you feel that's part of the reason why he's not here is because today he couldn't take the negative press that he was getting, that Paul will be more handsome than him on these shows?
Yeah, I think Kevin's laying out. He took a spa day to put all this bad news into the cooler, let it settle for a while, and then come back. It's hard to be handsome, but it's even harder when you're faking it till you make it with your handsomeness. And he's kind of in that category. So when a true handsome individual comes into his presence, he kind of melts back. And that's what we're seeing right now. I think he can get it back if he gets a win. Gets out there and wins today in Chicago, he'll be feeling himself a little bit. Come back in, throw his weight around.
I want to point this out. This is on top of the previously mentioned Ryan Aiken, Adam Bradley, already mentioned as grapplers who are going to be involved in this. So we have about 7 or 8 names right now, and I felt that is pretty impressive. So, you know, we're slowly starting to see this come together, and tomorrow we will know another one of those names that will join them. But if that's the caliber of folks that they've gotten thus far in, I'm already starting to do some math here, and you know that mathematically 2 of those people are going to be on the same team of the folks that I just named. And I think any one of those combinations is actually pretty intriguing to see how they work as a team. So very, very pleased about that. You did ask a question, though, and I'll return to that for this, but you were asking, who would you like to see at 205? So I'll go ahead and tell you, I'll prompt you with a question you prompted us, which is, who would you like to see at 205, sir?
Well, you know, there's a handful of guys that haven't been mentioned yet, and I don't know if we can get them here, but it would be awesome to see them here. 205ers, man. Nick Rodriguez, legitimate 205er. The guy is on a tear. He's crushing it. He's winning everything in sight. He's on a super duper double run right now. Really, we're seeing Nick Rodriguez, his vision quest play out right before us. So I would love to see him there. I'd love to see Mason Fowler there. If I'm not mistaken, I think Mason was going to be in season 6 and he got injured and couldn't do it. I think that's it. Or I might have that mixed up with something else, but I would love to see Mason Fowler out there. I know there's a viral video going on right now where Kyle Terra chokes him out in a gi, which is actually quite funny. But Mason is a real durable, tough, smart grappler. He's got a strong wrestling background. He's great at getting submissions. He's just not a, you know, stall and control kind of guy. I think he would do really well at the PGF. He's great at taking the back. He's great at choking dudes out. I think he'd play right into his style. I'd love to see him there. Outside of that, a couple big names like Big Dan would be awesome. Luke Griffith would be awesome. Craig Jones, perhaps, if we can find a lady for him to fight, I think we can get Craig Jones out there. 205, there's lots of potential there. I'm a little surprised not more people are going to the qualifiers, to be totally honest with you. Seeing what you could get from winning the qualifiers, man, PGF, the whole season, it's all exposure. You're getting tons and tons of live exposure, and then all the the things that they produce out of that, the documentaries and the clips and the videos, tons and tons of exposure. If you're a jiu-jitsu athlete, you're trying to make it as a professional, this is the place to do it. It's totally worth the trip out there. I'm glad Jared's going out there. We peer pressured him into doing it on Inside BJJ. It's like, dude, you got.
So you guys are responsible for doing that.
Well, I think he had it in the back of his head. He did this. He said, well, he's competing tonight in Detroit. He's like, I got a match in Detroit, but I did see there's a flight back to Vegas that I could get. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm thinking about it. And as he's saying this, he's got this tub of protein on his lap, and he shotguns a giant scoop of it. He just scoops in the mouth, just gets it down. And then we're all supposed to pretend that he didn't just do that. And my advice to him was, listen, if you're thinking about doing it, you should do it, because from the performance that I just saw a minute ago, I think you're going to have no issues at the qualifiers. And so apparently he's done it. I saw his name is in the registration list. So awesome. By the way, I didn't mean to book him back to back with you. The day I was trying to get him, he goes, oh, Raf already got me. And I'm like, the same day? Are you kidding? Like, yeah.
Oddly, I gave you time. But I was also in a mode of, hey, let's do it. But what did he tell me? He was like, we were in a place where I go, hey, man, I want to book you. When are you free? And he goes, I'm free tonight. And I was like, I am too. Let's make this happen. So what's happening is, that goes out to my people first, and then it goes out. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, because it's not an interview that's up for people who don't pay for my stuff. And it's all the more encouraging to become a Patreon member for the Grappling Hour, so that you could see these interviews immediately as they go up before Inside BJJ gets them. But I would say this, like, the weirder part is I didn't have any ill will on that, because especially in his case, he didn't do it. But there was an era when people would go on a press tour and they'd hit me up and they'd go, hey, I'm on a press tour. I'm like trying to promote this thing. I'm hitting up all the podcasts. I was like, good, all three of us?
Yeah, right.
And I go, just do me a solid. Don't book us the same weeks. Like, if you can, because you are going to say the same stories on all three shows. So I don't want to do that. And I don't like when that happens. And the nice part is, over the years, I have felt very secure in knowing, like, your interview is going to be a little different than mine, even if we touch the same things.
Yeah, right.
But, like, if you leave it to somebody to do their own booking, it is very likely they will come in, they'll have their like things that they're going to talk about, and they're going to go, wow, Tim, that is so funny. That reminds me of my new upcoming instructional, Darces everywhere. You'd be like, okay, cool. Tell me about your childhood. Well, as I say in my Darces everywhere instructional, my childhood was really informed when I started learning how to Darce. And I'm like, these interviews cannot be very good sometimes. But if I have a general idea, I'll be like, hey, can you do me next week, or this week me, then next week them? At least it would be a week off. And that was when everybody put them out the same week. Now I'm just kind of like, hey, listen, if you come on my show, be ready for me to just yell some other jokes at you, because I want to make it different than what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So the good news is, I can tell you this. He brought out the tub with me toward the end of the interview. And it was like, as we were signing off, and when he brought it out, he was, because I give him the chance to plug, and he's like, oh yeah, I just want to give a shout out to my buddy who makes all this honey. And I was like, dude, Tim, you've worked with me. You know that I actually bring honey with me to
you do.
set.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I don't want us to lose our voices if we're talking for a long time. But when he showed me that, and he goes, yeah, I go through one of these like every so often. I'm like, dude, I couldn't go through that in a month. And what you brought out, it looks like it's in a container for detergent. So like, it looked like something you like take a scoop out of, you pour it in, and then you have fresh clothes. in this case, I was like, what the fuck is that? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's my honey one. So I'm like, okay, good. We didn't actually see him shotgun. You're telling me that no, the next scene is, no, if you went to Inside BJJ, you would have seen Honey Bear get some honey. So, listen, now they're just all continuations. I just consider you like Dune Part 2 and we're Dune Part 1. Like,
yeah, right.
That's what this is. Hello, Wallow, seeing you here. And also Bobby 5GS. And it says season 7 is building up to be incredible. Look out for more veteran PGFers getting pushed out. I'm trying to figure out why the out is there. I think what he's trying to say is that, yes, as they get more top tier talent, you're going to see some of the homegrowns get pushed out. Or he's alleging the idea that they're going to get pushed off of the mats. It might be a double play here, but either way, I'm just telling you this right now to everybody involved. If you are going to go off the mats, do not hit me. This is a weight class that is far too big for me. When I used to photograph, I had a rule, and this is especially when I did Ultimate Mat Warriors. I recognized like, oh, if you guys are 205 and up and you hit me, you will never see these photos. Because I think that's the weight class that I hit where I go, yeah, no, that's too big. That's 400 pounds that might fall on me. No, thank you.
Yeah, no thanks.
So
no thanks.
I'm glad you hit a list of really good names, Tim. I think that's going to do it for that topic, which means we can now go on to our second one, which is this. And I don't know if you know any more than I do, but I'll put it out there. There's a lot of subtle hints being dropped about CJI2. So Craig put up this post with Alex Wendling, and it kind of was alluding to the fact that we're not sure what we're going to see from Craig. Maybe it's only just going to be lady fights with him. But will we see returning champions on there? And it basically listed these people like it was an X-Men Age of, what is this? Days of Future Past. Sort of like their photo, a little description that they've won, and are they coming back or not? And when I saw that, I was like, what's happening here? So do you know any more than I do? And if so, what are you looking for in a CJI 2?
You know, I only know that Craig has stated that he's only going to fight women from now on. Obviously, that's a joke. Craig is becoming the resident Andy Kaufman of jiu-jitsu, which is cool. Like, I like Andy Kaufman. I'm not sure what to expect, but I can tell you what I want. What I want is for CJI2 to be a very similar product to CJI1. I don't think right now is the time to make any major changes that can force you to maybe make a serious mistake or a misstep. If they can pull off another successful event, then people in the community are gonna, I think they're already on his side, but I think it becomes very, very more realistic because there's still, you know, everyone's like this. Well, can you do it? And then he does it, and then they go, well, can you do it again? And if he can do it again, then I think, you know, CJI is going to have a permanent place for as long as he wants it to. I would like to see that. Name-wise, you know, it seems easy for him to get the names. I think Craig has pretty decent relationships in the jiu-jitsu world. And when you're dangling out, you know, a 7-figure payday, it's not hard. You know, that's a dog whistle everyone's going to respond to. So I don't have any juice though, man. Like I don't have the connection into those guys. I don't have the back channels to find out.
Noted. I'll tell you this much. So whenever they do these drips, I just think like, when do we find out more information? If it's not happening until August, we can chill on promotion. Like once a month sounds fine. I think that's good. Getting my hopes up like this is like, who's coming back? I go, what's happening? What are we doing? I would tell the Craig Jones Invitational this, because every up, like you have mentioned, whether I'm involved in the program or not, they're like, hey, what do you know? And I'm like, dick, don't know anything unless someone has physically told me. And even then, I'm always inherently skeptical as to everything I read and I'm told, because sometimes I think people will tell you promotional stuff that says, hey, we're trying to land this big show. And I go, I'll believe it when I see it. So there is that. But clearly we're rooting for them. Clearly we want a good show. My advice to Craig and his crew is pay attention to these next weight classes, because if we're doing 205 at PGF, I wonder what that's going to look like. I wonder if you will see a bulk of those competitors at the next Craig Jones Invitational. And I've posed this. I personally think they should probably go down to 8 and 8 if they're doing 2 different tournaments. Like, you should do an 8-man and an 8-man, or an 8-man and an 8-woman, whatever it is. But if you're doing 2 different brackets, 16 is a lot of TV time for 3 5-minute rounds. So I'm just saying, I think it would make it more of a digestible product for 2 days at maybe 4 or 5 hours each, which I think probably is a little bit cleaner on TV time. I don't know. It's up to them. But the reason I'm saying 205 is, if that's going to be the one that shows out this next time, then great. But every weight class is fighting for that ability to get into that event. And we saw what they were doing with 80 above and 80 below. And then they're teasing a women's division. You know, there's a lot of good grapplers out there. It's just, how do you brand yourself and how do you market yourself? And what are the weight classes now? Do you stay at plus and over 80? Like, what are we doing on that side? So to me, I'm very intrigued. I want to see what they do. I think there's a lot of different hooks out there, but seeing these big boys play, it was like the first weight class that said, like, what about big boys? What about us? And it's like, well, you guys had a plus 80 kg division. So clearly I think there is a hankering for more divisions. And now that you saw the last time that ADCC, a lot of those 66 kg guys didn't want to leave the division for ADCC. They might have been doing the math and being like, I don't want to go up against these guys who are massive. What happens if you go lower on the division? Like, what's the return you get if you expand out those weight classes? So I would say just keep your eyes on the competitive field, see what's going on, and really market yourself as outside that, because now if you're basically showing yourselves as your own individual product, not attached to ADCC, I think the whole world is wide open to you. So very intrigued to how that plays. And I want to see more and more people like make their claims as to what divisions we should see, because them teasing like Cade Rotolo is like, would you like to see him back? It's like, what do you think?
Yeah, no, we're tired. We've seen everything he can do.
He already won $1 million. He can't win again. He's exempt. Like, no, he can come back whenever he wants. And in fact, I think there's some people even in that tournament who want another crack at him. So I don't think there's any short of competitors on that side. And can you imagine? They're like, well, you know, Ty didn't win, so we can't invite him back. Like, dude, of course. You're trying to tell me, do you want to see Fionn Davies? Yes. Would you like to see Nikki Rock? Like, the answer is yes. You know the answer is yes. The real question is, who are we going to see next?
Yeah, and you know, I think you actually bring up something that is going to be a test for CJI. If you just do one tournament, then you could pick a couple weight classes, pull it off, and great job. But when you start doing it consistently, then the people go, well, I want to see this class and I want to see that class. And now you have to ask yourself, is our production and our format scalable or suitable to have multiple weight classes? And what does that do to the schedule? And these are all challenges ADCC has had to deal with for many years. And they do things the way they do things because of challenges like this, right? I'm not trying to give them an out, but at the same time, CJI hasn't really been tested that way. It's like, hey, we did one cool show. We did all the cool shit we wanted to do, and we're not those guys across town. Now it's, okay, we see what you can do. What else you got? And you know how the public is, man. You better you better bring it, or basically Reddit is going to fucking come for you. Pardon my French, but they're going to come if you don't give them what they want. So
listen, you could literally hand Reddit a puppy. You could hand them Decoy, the most popular person here in all of Los Angeles, and they'd be like, fuck Decoy. And I'd be like, what did you say about Decoy?
Right.
Are we going to
I don't believe in getting dogs from a breeder. You have to get,
I'm more of a cat guy. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
That explains Reddit. Yeah.
It's 100% Reddit. I want to point out these two little notes that we got here. Stephen Aiken says, agreed, need 8-person brackets. Let me tell you why. I think 8-person allows you to tell more narratives as well. So maybe the time you would have spent watching another match could tell you about their narrative, their story, if we are trying to broaden it. And I feel like 8's a little bit more digestible in terms of sending camera crews to create like a little mini docs about them. I think it does help you to branch them out, because that, I think, is a missing component. If you guys remember your UFC building years, like they would tell you a little mini doc about those fighters in prominent positions because they expected you not to know the sport. And now they don't have to spend as much time because they go watch Embedded. Just watch this dude's social media. They'll tell you all about their asshole selves. And recently I saw some people being like, oh my God, these are the most boring UFC champs. Like, they got really boring. I'm like, they've been boring. I'm very sorry to tell you this. It's because they hit a cringe factor. And now when you don't pay attention to them and you see they have a boring fight, you're like, boring. And I go, sometimes boring wins. But I think it's just because people are just a little over some of the personalities. We don't have one with actual charisma. All these guys have negative charisma who just show up and then think like, I know if I say something like really controversial, that'll keep me in the news. And it does, but it doesn't make them compelling to watch. And if they have a shitty fight, they're like, wow, this guy fucking sucks. And the answer's more closer to, I don't know if they actually suck. Maybe they're just not worth the money you're paying for them. And when you have to pay for them, you start to think, oh, that dude's cringe. Did I pay $84 for this fight? Dude, that dude sucks. He's never good. What a bum. So,
right.
Just saying. Bougie Gatami says, more matches just means the post show will be a morning show.
Yeah, that's true.
It's it goes back to the Conan O'Brien. How is the Tonight Show tomorrow? Debacle when they were having their melee with Leno and Conan. So students of late night will know exactly what I mean by that. So I guess my answer to all of this is returning champions. Who would you like to see? Everybody. Just find your people, find those compelling natures, and let's go all in on telling some stories, because I think they are best positioned to do it. Absolutely. ADCC cannot spend time doing a documentary on every competitor. And we've seen it. And they spend all their money telling you about Gordon. And you know what? I'm good on the Gordon story. I don't think you can tell one anymore.
I don't. Yeah, Gordon is Gordon, and I feel like I have a pretty good grip on Gordon, for lack of a better word. Real quick, the PGF, a week long, and these guys got to fight 3 fights a day. As an athlete who's getting showcased, like, you really learn a lot about these guys in that small stretch of time. For CJI, I think more brackets, which means maybe same amount of athletes. Like, more athletes is too many. Then as the viewer, you can't track all these people. Same or less amount of athletes, more shows. I think that's the formula if you could figure it out.
Can I tell you my real biggest fear is that
yes,
somebody from CJI will hear this and go, loud and clear, less athletes, more brackets. Wait, no, hold on. I think if they do them, like, let's say quarterly or biannually, then you can have the opportunity of doing 4 brackets in a year. And I think that could be very impressive. But like for us at PGF, it's very much like we're doing 1. That's what we're doing. Hopefully we can do it quarterly as well. But twice in a year is not bad. And considering the hype and the way you learn about them, I feel like they do such a great job on narrative. It's just, we've seen the numbers that Craig Jones got. So we're all going to be playing a little bit of catch up. And I will tell you this, if I remember correctly, I want to say that PGF across all different formats and platforms did about 3 million views.
Wow.
So for those 5 days, so it wasn't like people didn't see it. So just as everybody can be aware, it will be a very big week. So my numbers might be off on that one. So I apologize if I did not get that right. BMAC is always welcome to send me those numbers. And I won't be surprised if this time he's like, hey, you did a nice little thing for Craig. And I was just wondering if I gave you this. And I'll be like, listen, you sexy Bill Clinton. Don't you even just give me that shit. All right. This is one that I'm intrigued about because I don't know that there's enough information about it in terms of what the public may know. AIGA is going to be returning to Los Angeles, but this time in a trials format, thus meaning they are looking for teams to show up and figure out who will be competing in their big melee for $1 million. So really, in a few weeks, we're going to find out which team of 7, which I think extends to 10, but which team of 7 is really going to compete. So Tim, aside from what I just told you, what else do you know about this particular tournament that has a little bit of buzz, but maybe isn't on everybody's radar?
You know, AIGA is intriguing to me. We talked about AIGA before the last event, and you know, they really weren't on my radar really strong, to be honest with you. But they're giving away $1 million this time, which is a pretty big deal. And there's, you know, some pretty decent sized teams. I know 10th Planet is bringing a team. Recently, they just announced that Andy Varela is going to be on that team. There's a team Vanguard that I believe is managed by Jason Rao. There's quite a few big names that are showing up. And I think, you know, the money talks, man, especially in jiu-jitsu where there's not a lot of it. It's like when you see the zoo feeder go out and starts throwing feed out and like all the birds come in or all the monkeys or all the animals or whatever. That's kind of what dollar bills are to jiu-jitsu athletes, man. They start showing up. You start shooting ones out and they start dancing, man. So yeah, I think it's a great thing for jiu-jitsu. I like the team aspects of this. I think that captures a certain sportive element that is a little bit missing when it's just one-on-one. One-on-one is great. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But that feels a little more like prize fighting, and the team aspect kind of feels a little more like sports. And I think there's a contingency of sports fans who only watch fights. They don't watch other sports. And then there's the sport fan that kind of does both. And the sports fan that does both generally watches a lot of sports, and there's a lot of those fans. You need a team element to get those eyeballs in because it's easy to jump into. It's like, oh, it's a team. I know how teams work. So I'm looking forward to it. I need to learn a little bit more about the rule set in AIGA. I'm a little unclear on what their actual rule set is. But I think it's cool that they're doing it in Los Angeles. I think Los Angeles needs some cool, positive, neat stuff happening out there. So it's nice to see California putting on some cool events. That's for sure.
Well, I'll say this. I feel like we were talking about a little bit a second ago about PGF. I thought I would just pull this up for everybody so we could actually see what's on their website. So if we cut to this right now, if you go to their website, this is what it looks like, right? So Long Beach
AIGA,
qualifiers, yes. October 18th through 20th. And it's just wild to me that they are qualifying this as free to all. So that's why to me, I'm like, yo, these grapplers are broke. Why are there not 400 teams trying to qualify for this? So let's say you want to qualify. Let's say you want to go. What entails this qualifier process? Like, what are you doing? So I thought I would actually walk us through what it is that you see on this. So let's go then to the application page off of this. And I will tell you, Tim, it is wild to me that as you see this, and you look over and you see the like qualifications process, if you go to this and you start looking around and saying like, all right, AIGA, I'm now looking to compete for you. What do I get? I think it's kind of wild to then look on the website, you press on the application process, and this is what comes up here. So it comes back on, and you will see on this, and as you go through them, manager's passport photo, athletes, weight, 60 kg, 65 kg, 70 kg, 76 kg, 83 kg, 91 kg, 91 plus kg. And then you can have you can have substitutes. I think you can have 3 substitutes, but I think you can mix the weight classes of what they appear at, because it gives you from 60, 65, 70, 76, 83, 91, 91 plus. So I think even in this, it is cool. And what I've seen on their website, in addition to this, Tim, is that they also had a $5,000 bonus that they gave out to, it looked like, the MVP of last season, which was Dante Leone. So even if you don't win, like, the $1 million, they're still trying to give out money for it. And they are telling you what the schedule is. But in North America, there's supposed to be 2 tournaments.
Okay.
So altogether, there's 8 events plus semifinals and finals. So I find this to be a fascinating under the radar thing that perhaps might be bigger elsewhere, but to us, it is maybe not getting the press that most people would think it would be for giving out $1 million. So we'll be interested to follow that process along, but we'll keep you updated on it. We'll come back to it a little bit later in the future.
I want to learn how the money's divvied up. I don't think it's going to one. Obviously, it's on a team. And you know, if you got 7 guys on your team, that's like being in a big band. And you're like, yeah, we're going on tour. And you start looking around. You're like, man, there's like 14 people in this band. Like, we're going to divvy up this money by 14. Like, what? You know?
Can you imagine at that point, like, you just mentioned it being a band, and you're like, well, as a singer-songwriter, I should get the publishing rights. You guys will, I mean, the tambourine dude should not be getting an equal cut. Let's be real. Cowbell over here is going to get a 10th, and the rest of you nerds are going to get $0. So there is that. All right, Tim, we're going to move on to our next topic, which is one near and dear to our hearts, because last week you very nicely brought up some new information to us. So can you tell us why we have this diagram of something that looks like it's being sent to a U.S. patent office? That's just the way it looks, but please give us some more information about it, Tim.
Yeah, so this is the sacred IBJJF gi checker. It's a replica of it that was 3D printed. I knew this was going to happen. Like, this is perfect. This is why we have 3D printers, so we don't got to waste our money on this kind of stuff. So there's some designs that are floating around on Reddit right now where people are sharing their, I don't know exactly if these are like EPS files or what kind of files there are, but people are sharing their files, and people are like, oh, this is mine. Oh, yours is better. Like, let me try that. And they're printing out their own gi checkers. I think they're doing it as a goof, but I mean, you only need one, honestly. And they're making it work. Now, what's funny is the 3D printers take forever to print. So they're like, man, I wanted to print like a longer one, but that takes 12 hours. So I only have 4 hours worth to do this. But it kind of strikes me like it's weird that the gi crowd almost views this as like a mandatory tool that you must have. And my initial reaction is, you could still just show up and have them check your gi like you've done for 30 years. It's okay. They're going to use the same thing. Or maybe if you're enterprising, you can get, you know, I thought about standing out front with one and just charging a couple bucks, like Venmo me $2, I'll check it. But I think I even have one better. I think we could put a gi checker kiosk out there that just has like a secure cable that releases when you put your credit card in, and then you can like check it yourself, and then you got to put it back in, and you're done. And you just charge a couple bucks, man, and just make money. I'm sure that machine would be broken swiftly if it was located by the IBJJF TSA cabal. But yeah, it strikes me funny. I love that people are working around it, but they're accepting it as like a tool that we need, which is like, okay, guys, like you're going to keep playing the game. But it got me thinking, like, what kind of objects should we 3D print for jiu-jitsu? And this is a little bit of a cop-out, but I'm going to say it anyway. The IBJJF needs a 3D printer so they could print themselves a clue as to what is happening right now. That's my advice for you.
Well, didn't expect that to end that way, honestly. I had a few ways I thought that was going to go, but I didn't know. It was like, what do you think you should print out? And I'm like, I don't know. That's a good thing. Let me see if I can figure that one out. You should print a fucking clue, IBJJF. Oh, this is a coffee for your closers moment. Okay. Can I bring up to you what I think is happening here? Do you ever buy tickets, or let's say you buy something online? You know, sometimes when you go to the cart, it asks you, would you like to get some insurance? That's what this gi checker is to me. This is like the extra fee. This is them saying like, well, you wouldn't want to spend all that money and then have a rain delay, would you? Because that would be sad. So pay this extra money so that you can see. When I started putting that together, I go, where's our Taylor Swift? You know, Taylor Swift's talking about, I don't like all these additional fees. Bruce Springsteen, Pearl Jam, they were all like, we don't like Ticketmaster charging our fans more and extra. We don't have that shit in jiu-jitsu. We don't have somebody standing up for us and saying like, no more additional fees, because I went to look it up, and this is 100% honest. I was considering, I was like, you know, I've never done an IBJJF tournament. Maybe I should just do one to get the experience in. And I was thinking,
that's like starting to smoke as an adult. Sorry. It's like, I never smoked and I'm 40. I'm going to try these cigarettes.
It is. But I'm also like, to their credit, they do have people who show up, and they do have people who pay. So credit to them. I'm never going to take that away. And the last best benefit is trying to get old people in your weight class, in your belt, is a very difficult job, but somehow people show up, and that's kind of nice to me. Whereas most of the times, if you show up at a tournament, they just go, what's your name? How fat are you? What belt are you? Yeah, nobody signed up. We're going to combine them. So we're either going to put you in this division you don't belong in, or we're going to throw you to the children. Which one would you like? And you go, my money back? At least to IBJJF's credit, most of the time, you'll have a dance partner. But when I'm thinking about that, I'm like, nobody's standing up for these fees. So when I looked it up, I pull up my phone. I said, how much does it retail for? Because I was looking up how much the IBJJF gi checker retails for. And I said, let's find out how much it would cost to maybe do no gi worlds. It's $100 to sign up. That's not including your membership fee, you need to use your left hand fee. It's not including you need to bring a gi bag fee, your charge to bring a coach fee. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just for the honor of competing for that. And I had a very quick, well, I will not be doing no gi worlds then. Okay. Because I said, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So God bless all of you who will be doing it. But even my very, very whimsical, I don't know, maybe it'd be fun. Maybe I'd go see a different light. Maybe I'd come back and be like, guys, my life's changed. I'm IBJJF forever. But it got me thinking, it was like, at least those people in that form have their champions for all those ancillary fees. We have nobody. We just have people complaining about it, but nobody can do anything about it. And if people keep talking about inflation, they're like, oh, all these major companies just keep raising prices. And most of the times it's something nebulous like an NFL or a Coca-Cola, and you go, I'm powerless against them. I think we have some power with IBJJF. I think you could just not do it. Or you just do stuff like this, because I've seen people get very angry from their side, on the PR side, that are like, that's not what we do at IBJJF. I'm like, would you like to comment about it? No. We just don't like people bitching about us. So I feel like, give them some feedback. Let's try and drive down this inflation. Hey, even inflation cut. Just saying. IBJJF, you could cut some prices.
Oh yeah, they're the IBJ. I think I figured it out.
Mm.
They are turning into an airline. It won't surprise me if they start selling flights. They got TSA on security. They got all these add-ons. Oh, you want to bring a bag? You got to pay. If in case you miss weight, we'll still allow you to compete. Like they should just do the whole thing.
Hold on,
man.
stop right there. Insurance in case you miss weight is actually a great fucking fee,
Right.
though. I would pay that. As an
You would.
actual fat person, that's really good insurance. The only thing is, what does that afford you? Does that give you your money back? Because what does it do to your opponent? Then do you have to get opponent, what in case my opponent is too fat fee? Like, what happens there? You're just like, well, we gave him back his fee. And it's like, well, what about me?
You're forgetting how airlines work.
Fat, Pete.
Airlines don't care. They'll sell you a ticket, and then they'll sell your buddy the same ticket they sold you, and whoever shows up first is getting the ticket. I think you do this. You go, look, if you get the over the weight limit insurance, it's $49.99.
Okay.
But you get like a 3-pound allowance. And if your opponent's 3 pounds over, eat it, dude. I don't know what to tell you. We're the IBJJF, dog.
Eat it.
It's like, whatever,
I mean, a wrestling tournament would also be very different if they had that 3-pound allowance just because you paid a few extra dollars. So I'm not against it. Maybe this is something we need to figure out that we can partner with them. And then I'm going to be like, I've always loved IBJJF. I don't know what you guys are talking about. They have been a stalwart of our community. So
we call it grapple care.
Yeah. Anyway, grapple care. I think isn't everything supposed to be a plus right now? Isn't it supposed to be like
it is
just grapple care plus? Yeah.
That means like, if you're overweight, you get one a year. If your gi isn't the right size, they give you one allowance a year. You're paying like $29.99 a month. If your gi gets stolen out of your car, they replace it. If we ever form
our LLC of Inside Grappling, I think it's just going to be us basically coming up with all of our get rich schemes to like people and like try to sue us. And it's like, sorry guys, we're an LLC. And they're like, that doesn't matter. It's like, just kidding. We're an S Corp, which is the one you're not going to be able to sue.
Yeah. All right.
Whatever.
The one you're not going to be able to sue is the S Corp that's owned by LLCs. That's the move.
So we're going to move forward here. And this is one that I thought would be interesting. So in politics, they refer to something as an October surprise. So I thought this would be an interesting thing to do. I had an original plan for it, but I might modify it. Hear me out here. So in October surprise, they talk about that thing that happens in politics that catches people out of nowhere before a major election. Considering that we're about to enter October, my original pitch was going to be like, hey, maybe our October surprise is amongst the three of us, we should figure out a submission that none of us are allowed to use for the month of October. And that would be the October surprise. But I did notice one of us is missing. So I feel like the October surprise should actually be the submission that Kevin can't do for the entire month of October. So now that he's not here, I want to see if we can convince that, one, he'd be lame if he didn't do it, but two, what would that submission be? So I'll have you pitch out yours for Kevin, just based off of what you know about him and what you think he might need.
This is a submission restriction, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
We're telling him what he cannot do.
Mm.
I think Kevin fancies himself as a leg lock specialist, so I would take the half of the human body away from him and I would make it even more generic, because we could get this by Kevin. He's not going to catch it. He'll agree before he reads the fine details. We'll tell him, look, man, no lower body subs. And he'll just be like, no heel hooks, okay. And then later he finds out it means no knee bars, no ankle locks, no Aoki locks, nothing, dude. You got to stick to the upper body. I would play that game, and then perhaps maybe limit like mother's milk. He seems like the kind of guy that would do that, especially to like somebody he has a big size and skill advantage over. I could definitely see Kevin waterboarding someone with this sweaty ass rash guard and just grinding on them. So I'd take one of those two things away if it was up to me.
I mean, you're not far off on the voting block here. It is right now. It was supposed to be a 30-33 sort of thing. This is now a 50-50 venture. So it's just a matter of how we can pressure him to do it. Because again, I'll ask this question now. If this was supposed to be the three of us, what would you have pitched for yourself included as the move? You'd probably be like, yeah, not having that for a month would kind of suck.
For me, that would probably definitely be what I call the old man arm lock, which is when I'm turtled up, as I often do, because my guard is not that great anymore, and somebody's trying to take my back, and I wrap their arm and I shuck them over and I just put them in that little figure four straight arm lock, and they're like, "Oh, I thought I was going to get your back," and I'm like, "You did. You thought it." I'd take that one away from me because
how often are you doing that? That is a very specific move, sir.
Man, if I went and pulled all the video, I could make a montage. I do it a lot.
Wow.
I'm giving up my back to set it up, more or less. I'm like, yeah, take it. On. Tap, back again, same level. Let's go. It's like, ain't no biggie.
That's impressive. I didn't know that was going to be your answer. I didn't know what to expect on that. I think for me, it probably would have just been a heel hook because half the time when I just don't want to deal with somebody, I just go like, all right, you're done here. I'm not. Go away.
I think we have to take the sharpshooter away from you because I think
no.
Yeah, see, this is how I know it's the right one. I think that's your power move. That's like, yeah, you got a cool rash going. Yeah, I'm gonna put you in a fucking sharpshooter. Like I'm gonna Iron Cheek humble you.
The worst one is actually more the Boston Crab. I think that's the one that comes back. I mean, because here's the issue. I think this weekend, even our good friend Ben, who was working with us as a PA, is actually coming up to LA, and he has plans to come train with me on Sunday, I think. And I'm like, this kid has no idea he's gonna get the shit kicked out of him with the dumbest of moves. Like, I'm 100% gonna be able to hit a Boston Crab. I'm pretty confident. But it depends on how much trash he talks, because normally I just go like, if you don't really talk trash, I don't really do this to you, or you're not a pro wrestling fan, I don't do this to you. But it is a good one in the wheelhouse. The sharpshooter is always one that I'm like, it's more of a dare to those who say you can't do it. And I go, I cannot?
Au contraire.
Okay. So I don't know how many people are going out of their way to do that, because I think there's a handful of my students who go, we believe you. We think you can do this. So, yeah, I mean, I would live okay with that one. Boston Crab, that'd be a little more difficult. But, okay, I think if we're going on this lower body thing, we just need to figure out what the wages are, and then we can go from there. So I'm going to give you a little time to think about that. But I figure, Rogan does like Sober October and all this other bullshit.
Oh, gotcha.
They literally come up with their dumb bullshit and people are invested in it. And I was like, how do we get that audience without like having to do anything? And I said, I think that's it. So it's just me stealing ideas. Speaking of stealing ideas, this week I thought it would be a good exercise for us to bring in one of our favorite memes from outside the world, giving some love to some folks who do the great hard work of making us laugh. And I got to tell you, I do have one. So Tim, I don't know if you ended up finding a meme, but I will give you a few seconds to do so if you have not.
I'll try. Yeah.
All right. You have the time until I finish speaking. So I'm going to give you some coverage here. But ladies and gents, I would like to bring some attention to a friend of the show, somebody who's a sweetheart. You get our good friend, One Happy Rolling BJJ. Now, he put up this one, and I'm partial to it, but I think this is fairly accurate. And it says, combat jiu-jitsu be like, and it's Batman from the 60s animated series doing a nice little slap that is very famous within the internet. Now, here is why I bring this one up. Listen, Happy Rolling does great work. Sure, we like that. But he does do one thing that pisses me off. And really, this is the reason I'm bringing this up. Do you guys notice that despite his good work, he will put up these as a story rather than a post? So when he puts it up as a story, I can't share it. And I like giving credit to people who do good work. I don't want to steal their meme. I'm not Happy Rolling BJJ. He knows what I'm talking about, Mencia. What I would tell you is I legitimately try to put this up and say, hey, go to his page, Yes, it's a very popular page, but they do good work. And instead, he doesn't put it up as a post. It's a story. And sometimes he'll put it up maybe a few hours after the fact, at which point I've moved on. There's a Moodang that I've looked at. There's a decoy I've looked at. My brain has gone elsewhere. I don't want to share it anymore. So I guess what I'm saying is if you take the time to make it, just put it up. What are we doing A and B tests here for? We don't need to take the extra time to figure out like, let me little bit of this. And yes, I will a dash of a little cinnamon here. Like, no, just fucking put it out. Just, you did it. You already made the thing. We don't need to research it. At this point, you can't worry about the algorithm. The algorithm sucks. Even talking about the word algorithm probably is going to bring this down. So I just tell you this. Yeah. Happy rolling. You're good enough. You're smart enough. And gosh darn it, I think people like you. I don't know that I'm one of them when you do shit like that, but I think most people do. So that's my meme that I am sharing.
Yeah.
I think in disguise was just an opportunity to yell at him. So there's that.
You know, yes, you are Stuart Smalley. You are good enough. You're smart enough. And doggone it, people like you. The great Al Franken. Nice play there. I just shot you a text, Raph, with the meme. And this is actually from 10th Planet Nashville. I made this last night goofing on my students, not knowing we were going to do memes today.
These poor students have no idea they're going to be involved in something. So, yeah, that makes it even better. This isn't bad. I'm not going to lie. But I have words here, Tim.
Yeah, let's have them.
My words are as follows. I asked you to give some credit to an underserved meme maker, and your thought was, well, me. So, listen, this isn't bad. And you know what? This can actually go on the profile side. I just like the fact that you create this very nice thing that gives your students some love. But in actuality, these poor students were just like, I just want to go home. I had a hard class. Tim's a slave driver. This is insane. And instead, you're like, nope, these fuckers are going to learn today. I'm going to meme them so
That's
hard. Right. And then what they don't know now is they're going to appear on the show where they're just like, dude, I was just like trying to go home. Am I doing? No, that's the one.
Yeah, right. Wait,
the one?
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, no. Yeah, got it. So it takes them a second to probably realize and process all of this information. So there is that. So, all right, that gave us some love to some other content creators in the community. I think what has become a our fight of the week. And I should preface this by telling most of our people, I didn't know if I was going to actually appear in the fight of the week.
Yeah, sounds like you almost did.
I almost did. Actually, you know what? My wife almost did. That was going to be the more concerning aspect. My wife basically heard some really angry white dudes that were sitting in a section as we went to the Dodger game yesterday. And they literally, like, we looked for our seats. We're going down. We're walking down a set of stairs. And these guys are like, sit down. Like, what? They're like, Case, can you sit down? And they're so drunk. I just kind of like dismiss them. And I'm like, wow, really good guys. Real smart there. Classy as fuck.
Yeah.
Flick them off. And then I'm like walking down the area and I see my wife's not behind me. And I go, uh-oh, where is she? I look at her and she has what is the physical embodiment of
it's finished.
And I go, what did you do? And she goes, I shut them the fuck up. And I was like, see, that's why I'm married to you. So shout out Kelly for doing that.
Hell yeah,
one.
Kelly. Nice work. And listen, that's what you need. Look, you could go in there and whoop ass, but you really don't want to. And if she steps up, she plays hype man for you, she's boss enough to set them back. They're like, no, we're just drunk guys.
I guess I should bring up the other fight that could have happened, which is that so we got to our section. I'm sitting with my homeboy who fights for a living. It is a very good fighter. And I realized something, Tim, and I'll ask you the same question before I put up what you sent to me, which is if you're off duty, meaning you're going to do civilian life, and somebody gets into a fight, do you fix yourself as responsible for breaking up that fight because you, like a doctor, have the skills in training. So even if you're off duty, are you truly off duty to breaking up a fight?
It depends. And what I mean by that is I'll give you 2 examples. I had one occasion, which was the day I got my black belt in the gi. I thought the jiu-jitsu guys were testing me. I went to the grocery store, and there was a dude in the grocery store who was out of his mind aggressive, and he was directing it towards this checker who was trying to check him out. And then there was an old dude with a cane next to him who tried to diffuse it and just like tried to talk to the guy like casually. And the dude went off on this old dude. And I thought, dang, man, I can't let this guy jack this old dude up. Like if he gets I have to step in. Now, contrast that with I'm at Grappler's Quest in San Francisco years ago in the Lower Haight district, and having lunch, and there's a couple of these are classic street bums. You know what I'm talking about. And the street bums got into it because one of the bums was like kind of being aggressive with just a casual walking down the street. And another bum was like, hey, I got standards, like I'm a bum, but I'm not a nuisance. And so they got into it and they started throwing hands. And I was a little younger then. This was like purple belt Freeman. I still felt like I had something to prove. And so I was like, oh, we should do something. And my big homie at the time, who was much further down the road, he just like put his hand out in front of me and he's like, no, man. If their fluids get on you, like you're going to be on antibiotics for a year and you're going to hate your life, dude. So I was like, that's true. Let's just watch. So it depends, man.
This is because, okay, so in front of us in our real section, which by the way, a lot of cholos in our section and everybody was a delight. But there were some Padres fans.
Oh, no.
In our section. And we had a drunk cholo, not even a cholo, just a Mexican dude, actually. This dude was just a regular Mexican, not a heightened Mexican like a cholo. So this dude, he also had a camera on him, which made it kind of fascinating because in our section, I was like, my guy, as a cameraman, that camera's not going to do anything for you. Like, you don't have the right lens. It's just, what are we taking a picture of here, guy? And it's just on him, and you could tell he's just like in his dude's face, like, hey, man, we're taking a photo. Yeah, we got that. And he's got a whole bunch of people in a section with him. He seemed very nice to us. But when it was happening, he looked over at the Padres fan who's in a different section. And he goes, what are we talking now, man? What are we talking now? And those two are chirping back and forth. And I'm about to ask my buddy who fights. I was about to say, like, hey, are we civilians? Are we off duty? And before I can do that, this dude who's a Padres fan goes, hey, say hi to your mother to me. And the mother was right in front of us.
Oh,
and she's like, I'm sorry, what?
What?
And I go,
yeah.
Oh, no, I don't think he understood the situation. She's right here, and she looks like she's going to cut you. And I'm like, hey, ma'am, are you okay? She goes, I'm fine. Just, get her shit ready. And I go, all right, this is not good. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, maybe we need to de-escalate here if it gets down to it. And then all of a sudden the dude, the Mexican guy, looks at that Padres fan and goes, fuck the Padres. And I go, see, this is where I can't get involved. And I just looked at him. I was like, we looked at our group and I go, I think we can leave now. All right. This has been fun, everybody. So shout out them. Let's go to our, why are you getting into a fight over baseball?
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of fighting in baseball.
Yeah, but Tim and I coexist as people who are Dodgers and Giants fans. And I hate the Giants, but I like Tim. And I realize he's made mistakes in his life before. But I feel like the right thing to do is to embrace them with a hug so that when you stab them in the back and then you get Decoy next to you and you're like, Decoy, we killed a Giants fan. Yay. And then you get the photo op. It's much more delightful. So
I respect, I know that as a true Dodger fan, you have to hate Giants fans. If you didn't hate not the fans, but you got to hate the Giants. If you didn't hate the Giants, then I would not respect you as a baseball fan. I'd be like, you're not a Dodger fan. And if I don't hate the Dodgers, then what am I? I might as well just end it now. Like but I have mad respect for Tommy Lasorda. I was at the last night game. They played the Dodgers for the last series, and Lasorda came out. He got booed mercilessly. He went into the dugout, and he came back out again, and the Giants fan gave him a standing ovation. So they're great teams, man. Long-term rivalry.
What a great thing to be like, boo him first.
Nah, love him second.
We'll see, you guys. Yeah. You know what it is? You come for your curtain call. They're like, I hate this villain. Oh, I hate this dude. The bad guy in Othello. He sucks, man. But he was really good at his job. Let's give him an applause break right now. So there is
He's
that.
a heel
All right.
face.
Yeah. Let's go to the fight that you selected this week, Tim. The one that happened that didn't involve me. Walk me through this, please.
This is an old classic, actually. This guy is trying to fight the other guy, and the other guy is smoking and not concerned at all. The other guy's got some spatial problems. He's not sure how to judge distance or perception. He might, no offense to anyone, he might only have one eye. He might not be able to judge distance. He does get a good shove in, and then he gets a get out of here mosquito, and this is great. Swing one, little contact, flicks him off. Great self-defense move. Learned that from Dillman Institute. Here comes another. Oh, caught him with a kick. Look at this. Other dude, he's trying to throw. He's trying, and then old boy walks off. Now, it's about to get good because this is a sanctioned fight. This is taken care of by, I'm not sure what athletic commission. It's probably the Alabama Athletic Commission is doing. He gets a little Sotogari action, and watch. I love the pin at the end. It's brilliant. He gives him a little collar tie. Get back down on the ground. Dude gets back up. He's got, all right, I'm gonna do this. You've never seen this. Got some hand jive going on. Some pointing. Boom. Look over there. He does take old boy down. Then old boy goes, oh no, I've had enough. Nice little guard play. Dude turtles up. Doesn't know what to do. Checkered shirt guy gets up, got him in the hand on the back of the neck. This is basically how you hold a cat down when it's going crazy. And this guy's like, I can't move. He's smoking a cigarette and making a phone call, and then he gets the tap out. I'm done.
Wow.
We're done.
That's impressive.
He tapped.
I have to say,
Great fight.
The wherewithal in any fight to tap is always fascinating because I don't know that they have to respect that at that point. I think there's always like a concern of like, oh, we don't play that here. Allow me to walk you through my interpretation of this.
Yes,
so
please.
First of all, we're starting with some excellent calisthenics. This is good warm-up practice that I don't know that people are thinking of. And I don't know if people understand, but it is fascinating to see that Taylor Pierman really has come a long way from its humble beginnings as an ADCC champ to picking fights with randos with, oh man, this backhand like here. This chop is really a good place to start. But I mean, listen, dude, the fact that he can just shrug it off is amazing. And Taylor comes back focused. And this is one of the nice things. He's only using one hand and is so committed to smoking the cigarette. But it does look like the Steven Seagal-esque McDojo bullshit that you normally see. So I'm like, how real is this fight? So he looks over and he says, we got some blood in you. And this is my favorite. So you mentioned this as some pointing. I think at a certain point, we're going to see some Mick Jaggering here momentarily.
Right.
So look at this. As he starts staggering in, oh man, these just get rougher and rougher each time you see him. But watch the hand pointing here. It's going to be like, oh, no, brown sugar, you know, I miss you. Oh, and then he comes over for the kick and he is successful. But here's the worst part. He was so successful, Tim, he didn't know what to do when he actually got it through. He was so confused as to be like, wait, is that going to work? Oh, shit. And then when he does get it to work, he was like, wait, hold on. He stands up over him, lords over him, and goes, shit. I didn't think I would get this far. And then, of course, you mentioned that. Now, I have to point this out. It's the hand on the back of the neck while calling on a cell phone, while still on a cigarette. That is incredible. The fact that this dude has no wherewithal to be pointed down internal and realize you could just stand up. Like, you could just get up because this is not going to keep anybody down. Yesterday, I rolled with one of my homies who I could throw the kitchen sink at him. He's still finding a way to stand up. I literally hoisted him into the air and gave a mat return. And my dude was just like, no, And I'm like, this was a very good mat return. He's like, that was really dope, but also still no. And I'm like, fuck. So when I see something like this and I go, you mean to tell me this worked? This little Vulcan neck pinch you're doing to him? Get the fuck out of here, dude. You make the rest of us jealous at this shit. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I got for you.
The complete obedience that Taylor Pearman went into when he had his neck, he just was like, oh, you got it, man. I guess this is a pin. This is it. And he's like, tap. I want to know who old boy was calling on the phone. Mm-hmm. That looks like the Ernest dude from the Hey Vern commercials.
I would point this out. My first thought when I saw this fight go up, Tim, is when he did get this. So look, yeah, what? Again, he gets it. He's like, wait, he fell?
Yeah.
To this dude's credit on the floor, this is actually a very solid sweep that he does. Like, I didn't have the wherewithal to think he was going to get one in, but just kind of drags him down and hits like this pro wrestling-esque thing. Cigarette momentarily, you think, find its way back in here. And yeah, the obedience is there. But if anything, you're wondering if he's calling the authorities. I think he's calling his best mate to be like, you won't believe what just happened. I just kicked the shit out of somebody. And then I think he's probably going to do this where he's going to be like, wait, what's that? Hey, tell him I just kicked the shit out of you. Yeah. Yeah, tell my friend. Tell my friend I won. Anyway, dude, you want to go to the pub a little bit later? I got a cigarette in my mouth still, so we can make this happen. I'm going to bring this dude with us so we can beat the shit out of him there, too. All right. Cheers. And I think that's how he got off the phone. But yeah.
He's dedicated to that cigarette. Like, he did not drop. Look, cigarette and booze, people don't drop those. When they're fighting, they're like, I'm going to keep. Remember the dude with the beer at the game? He held that. This dude kept that. That's the key to winning a fight. Grab a drink or throw smoke in.
It is an impressive thing. You know what? We have already mentioned our gallery comments from this week. So here's what we're going to do, Tim. I'm going to put the camera on you. Go ahead and plug/promote all the stuff that you've got coming up this next week, sir.
So, Raf, thank you very much. You can check us out at Inside BJJ. We just did a show last night. It was just the gang here talking. It was actually pretty good content. We went all over the place. It's pretty wild and crazy. I gave some very specific takes on my view of camping. And if you're interested in that, you can check it out. We also have a Patreon where we do some backstage comments and content. I just put out a technique video on there that might be something that you haven't seen before. It's a crab roll into cross ashi. That's pretty cool. I've only seen it in Sambo a couple times. I haven't seen it in jiu-jitsu much, but check that out. It's patreon.com/InsideBJJ. Outside of that, PGF Season 7 qualifiers are tomorrow. So if you're thinking about doing it, this is a sign from the grappling gods. Do it. It's free. Show up. Put your name in the hat. See what happens.
And legitimately, there's only one spot left. So even if one of you took up Tim on his offer, that's insane to me that you guys haven't. Like, don't complain to us and don't ask us where you can get qualified or how you can do it. They've literally done it. So it's just like, no, do you think you could put in a good word for me? No, I don't know how to put in words. I'm void of words. Well, we made it today without Kevin. We hope all is well. I do believe he touched down in Chicago, but I think he and his prized blue belts will be heading to a weigh-ins. So we wish them the best, and hopefully we see him next week. Well, with all conditions being as they may in Atlanta. Also, love and support to all of our friends in Atlanta and Florida. To the Florida people who were affected, very, very sorry to hear about that stuff. Hopefully all things are good and the eye of the storm is essentially done. And to those of you who stood outside and took pictures of yourself saying you did something against the weather, I just want to remind you that's not how weather works. But of course, thank you for living up to Florida man standards. So there be that. Glad most things seem okay. Hope all is well. All right, Tim, I'll talk to you off air in a second. But to the rest of you hooligans, my thanks and appreciation for watching on today's episode. As a couple quick reminders, if you want to like, comment, and subscribe, that always helps us. You can do it on either Inside BJJ or Grappling Hour. It does mean a lot. You can also do us a solid and head on over to patreon.com/grappling hour. Right now, we're putting up a bunch of interviews that I've been excited to share with you guys. I think they're very, very solid. We mentioned Jared is one of them. We also have Sebastian Attard, who's one of the PGF participants. He won a qualifier. He will be on the next season of the PGF. He is one of those 8 individuals. We also have some tape study that we're putting up with Jared from his match. We talk about his bear costume walkout as well, which I think is very, very fun. So that's for premium users. In addition to that, we also have Spotify and YouTube and Instagram, basically everything at Grappling Hour. So follow us there, give us some love and support. And you can always follow us on our Grappling Hour Discord to continue the conversations that we have here on the show. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. Thank you so much for watching. It has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.
10,000 hours is a steep mountain to climb to become a master, especially when the task at hand puts a relentless demand on your body. There is nothing casual about this sport. It's all in, all effort, all focus. It takes a lot from you, but the reward is unmatched. Mastery of oneself, an acute understanding of your weaknesses with an explosive sense of your strengths. Being able to complete the climb to mastery requires the proper nutrition. This is why it's important to take in a potent blend of electrolytes that is in tune with your output and brings strength to your goals. This potent blend is only found in salt electrolytes. Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another installment of the Bullpen. Kev, we got a huge board. Why don't we get straight to it right now? Go ahead and lead us off.
Yeah, thanks, Raf. Today we're talking about the clean aesthetic of Gold BJJ. Their phenomenal streetwear they've got. It's not just training gear, guys. You can get streetwear. Raf, are these all Gold BJJ? All of these cards are Gold BJJ?
Yep, just read the script like we talked about.
Yeah, you're right. They've got a variety of styles. They have a bag. It's phenomenal competition gear. You can bring it with. You can throw it in the wash. Raf, these are really cool. Are any of these for me? Like that bag?
No. They didn't have any stuff for you. They ran out of your
Well,
size.
they're really affordable if you need to go out there and get them. You can just get the stuff, goldbjj.com.
These shorts are awesome. I'm going to get this. Wait. Oh, this.
Do they have a second set for me? Is that a thing they have?
They were like, hey, man, we ran out of stuff, and they didn't have it in your size because like fat. You know what I mean? So, like, these are all for like me. Anyway, go visit our friends at goldbjj.com.
Elevate your BJJ game with inverted gear, where pandas and performance meet. Whether you train in a gi or prefer no gi, we have something for you. Our gear is built to last and designed to perform no flashy extras, just high-quality craftsmanship and minimal design. Plus, pandas. Don't miss our back-to-school sale going on now. Visit www.invertijar.com and roll with confidence panda style.